2, step off.
Come on, won't you say it loud? Ayo, we gon' turn this out. Tom Clock's main event. Dropkick now and powerbomb. Ayo, bro, let's bring this on. Hey, hey, wide is up. Oh, captain, my captain, shoulder stuff. Power slammer, suplex 2. Hot bitches just for you. Big breaker, cut a cold red. Figure 4, hot time ahead. Since 2014, it's on. It's a 10 count, but stand up strong. Hey kid, no DQ, strong style. Chop, this is how it goes. Tom Clock's main event. Tom Clock's main event. Tom Clock's main event. Tom Clock's main event.
Hey, what's up, kids? Welcome back to the program. Welcome to 2026, Jack. We made it. That's right. The worst year of all time has come to an end. And we hope, nay, we wish, nay, upon our lives, we deem it necessary that 2026 is not what 2025 was. Everybody cross your fingers, pray to whatever God you pray to, and hope that she's listening, because we need a better 2026. These words of hope and encouragement brought to you by your friends at Tom Clark's Main Event. Welcome, kids, back to the show. You are tuned in to the Season 13 premiere. You know what that means? We've been on the air for a really long time, but we're very glad. We're so glad. We're thrilled. We're ecstatic. We're beyond measure. We're over the moon, that is, that you guys have joined us here today. We appreciate you so much for tuning in to Boink Studios, for following all the shows, for sticking with us through thick and thin. We appreciate you guys very much. Before we go any further, kids, if you will, smash the like button for me. That would mean loads to me. We got lots to get to here today. This is an AEW heavy show. Want to know why? Because your boy took the last week of the year off, and we got lots to catch up on. And if you saw us promoting the show earlier, know what we're leading with here today. We will get to that in just a second, but let's do a little bit of housekeeping first. Let's get some things on the screen so as everybody here can understand what it is we're going for. As you can see at the bottom there, if you'd like to support the show, please visit that address. We'd appreciate it very much. And that means loads to us. Before we go any further, let's go ahead and drop this link in the chat as well. If you guys would, please and thank you, go follow Boink Studios on the YouTube. Remember, none of our stuff is behind a paywall. All of our stuff is free of charge, at least for now. So we'd appreciate it very much if you would go follow Boink Studios. You get Tom Clark's Main Event, Tom Clark's 6M Podcast. You also get Bear Mode, a podcast review of the Bear. You get the Patent Report. You get Bachman's Basement. Of course, you get Ray's Sports and Slams. All that and a whole lot more on Boink Studios. Content dating back to 2014. So there you go. I'm out of breath. I need a nap. Let's see who was first to the table today. Josh McMahon, it's good to see you, my friend. I appreciate you hanging out with us as always. JP, good to see you. He says, haven't seen you all year. I love those haven't seen you in a year jokes. They never get old. I appreciate you, my friend. Robbie, good to see you too, brother. Glad you're along for the ride. Everybody, please welcome back to the show. Faye, let's have you on the main event next week if you're available. I'm putting you on the spot so you can't say no. She may say no. We're all very busy. Trust me. CRP in the house, kids. There we go. Happy New Year. Also, worst year so far. Oh my God, is it already the worst year so far? Well, it didn't start off on a great foot, did it? But we're all again crossing our fingers and hoping for the best. Sugar Shane, good to see you. I was supposed to have gotten a haircut and a beard trim this week. However, I did not. And as you can see, she's getting pretty full. She's not as full as Chris Patton's beard, let me tell you. Because when Chris Patton grows a beard, Chris Patton don't play around. Chris Patton's beard means business. You understand? That beard is open for business. Mine, however, is closed for business. I don't like the great big ho stuff going on. It's not for me. So I'm going to have to take care of this sooner rather than later, yeah? We put Faye on the spot, and it worked. See what happens when I put people on the spot? Faye, I'm just teasing. But no, I'd love to have you on next week if you're free. All right, kids. Now that the pleasantries are out of the way, Commander, let's get on with it. Let's do what we came here to do. Willow Nightingale is your new TBS champion. This happened, of course, on New Year's Smash, as we all saw. She unseated, dethroned, upset, put her out to pasture. She didn't really. But this is, of course, is her second TBS title win. She has beaten Mercedes Moné, who is now Mercedes 9 belts Moné, I think it is. She's down to 9. Look, kids, We all knew this was going to happen eventually, right? We all knew that eventually Mercedes was going to start dropping these titles. It's okay. It's fine. I have no worries about it. Mercedes is freaking fantastic. She's a much better worker than possibly anyone ever gave her credit for, than possibly we even know she could be in WWE. She has come so very far over the past few years. And look, losing a belt from Mercedes these days is not a big deal. It's really not. She's freaking wonderful. And, anyone who watched that match and came away from it thinking that she's anything but wonderful is out of their minds. I do love that Willow took most of the match. I'm sure you guys noticed she took most of that match. She looked really good and really strong. And Mercedes didn't look bad by any means, but you could tell that Mercedes was giving her quite a bit. We now start the decline of the Mercedes Moné character. Not forever, but for the belt collector shtick, it has to end eventually. I think we're going to start seeing her show up in other countries, Mexico and maybe England here and there. You're going to see her drop the belts back to the respective promotions. But, I don't look at any of this as a negative when she won any of these belts. I don't look at it as any sort of negative losing these belts. I think it's positive all the way around. But, you know me, guys. I'm a very positive person when it comes to this stuff. I have nothing but a great outlook on this. And to be quite honest with you, I don't see any negatives here. I don't see any drawbacks. Mercedes can, at the drop of a hat, beat Statlander tomorrow night, whenever, if they wanted to, and she's fantastic. There's no setup involved. You don't have to worry about, we need to build somebody. Nah, there's no story to tell. You just get her ready, and boom, she takes it. I'm not predicting that's going to happen. I'm just saying Mercedes is just so incredibly good, and she's just an asset to that locker room. I can't put her over enough. Let's talk about Willow. Willow is fantastic. Faye says she's delighted for her, as well am I. Willow's great. Willow is also definitely an asset to have in the locker room. Her personality, her smile, her charisma. She's got natural charisma. She loves what she's doing. And, buddy, if she doesn't, she's faking it really awesome, isn't she? But it really seems like she loves what she does for a living, man. Kudos to her. Congratulations to her. We often say here that titles mean what they mean to the talents, if that makes any sense. We put a lot of emphasis on championships as fans, and sometimes to the detriment maybe of the conversation, and other times maybe I think we perhaps overestimate what belts mean to the talents. But we can't make those blanket statements about every talent that wrestles. We just can't, because each and every individual pro wrestler looks at championship belts a different way. Many share the same opinion, both positive and negative, and perhaps there's variations. I guess what I'm trying to get to is when people tell me Tom belts mean nothing, I disagree. When people tell me Tom belts mean everything, I disagree. I think it all needs to be taken into context. But having said all that, I think it's pretty darn cool that Willow's your new TBS champion. So kudos to her. Excellent match, as we all knew it would be. Did anybody predict Willow was going to come away from that with the championship? I can't say that I called that. Of course, I wasn't here to give predictions, yeah, because we took a week off. But no, man, I just really enjoyed the match, and I think that Willow is fantastic. So we'll see how it all plays out. I don't know what this necessarily means for the women's division moving forward. Things are going to change. Statlander and Willow evidently made up, and they're besties again, which is cool. In my opinion, Stat's a really good heel. I just believe it. Maybe it's close. I kind of think Stat is maybe on the edge of being a better face. Maybe that's just one guy's opinion. I don't know, but that's kind of how I always see it. I think she's great either way. I'd like to see her stay face for a while. I just don't know if there's a heel turn that needs to happen anytime soon. I think Stat's come a heck of a long way, as has Willow. They've both always been really good, but as we know, as wrestlers evolve over time, they get better. They work talents better than them. It's the only way you can improve. And I think that Stat and Willow both could probably say we've gotten better over time. That would be the hope for any wrestlers you pull forward that you admire, right? Is that they're learning, they're constantly learning. They don't just say, well, I got to figure it out at the end. I just don't think that's possible. Kids, feel free to throw your comments in the chat whenever you want to hear about Willow and Mercedes, what you think might be happening with Mercedes after the fact. We can always circle back to it. But we're speaking of, possible heel turns here and there, talking about Statlander. Let's talk a little bit about John by God Moxley. I don't know who in the world saw this coming. I sure didn't. This was not on my my prediction card for the end of 2025 going into 2026, I'll tell you. But it sure does look like that Jon Moxley possibly, maybe, more than likely perhaps, is turning babyface. Do we believe, kids, do we honestly believe that the rest of the Death Riders are going to turn with him? Now, look, we've been predicting, we meaning I mostly, have been predicting that the Death Riders are going to turn on Mox at any day now. The dude just kept tapping out. Jon tapped out to everybody. I made him tap out. He tapped out to everybody. He tapped out to the kid at the grocery store bagging his groceries. Jon just tapped out for like a month straight. Okay? He woke up, he tapped out. So I believed, as well as a lot of other people out here, that meant the Death Riders were going to publicly humiliate him and kick him out of the group. That Marina Shafir was going to slap him on live television. They were all going to put the boots to him, and he was going to blade like crazy and bleed buckets. That has not happened yet. It does not mean it's not going to happen. Doesn't mean it is going to happen either. I think we just need to. I think we need to just be aware that typical pro wrestling storylines, as folks who have watched the business for a long time, the way we kind of always expect them to play out doesn't always work when you're talking about AEW. We've talked about this multiple times before. How many of you thought Mox was going to become the new Continental Champion? Right? And beat Okada. How many people had that coming? Saw that coming? Be honest. See, that's kind of what I'm talking about here, is that when you think something's going to go left, AEW takes it right. And it's just, it's who they are. I've come to expect it from Khan and company. And, in the early years of this, I won't say early years, but probably midway through year 4, maybe 5, I kind of started getting a little bit of a headache with this booking. I've made it pretty clear that, heels and faces matter in the business. If a promoter disagrees, they're welcome to disagree. Khan's got more money than I have, so what do I know? But heels and faces mean something, kids. I just believe in my heart of hearts that heels versus faces is the foundation of professional wrestling. And anytime you stray from that too much and try to get too creative or too cute or too artsy, you're going to lose fans. Okay? That's my opinion. And people can take that or they can leave it. It's totally up to them. But nuanced storytelling, you know what I mean? I love nuanced storytelling. I'm a writer at heart. I write all the time. I can appreciate nuanced storytelling. But pro wrestling, in its very simplest form, is you and I have a problem with each other. Let's go sell it in the ring. That's what pro wrestling is. You can nuance the life out of it. But sometimes it's okay to hold people's hands to get them to where you want them to go. Maybe not all the time. And I know there's a balance you have to find. But I guess what I'm saying is, for everyone that didn't pick Mox to win the Continental Championship, hello. For everyone that didn't see Mox perhaps turning babyface against the Death Riders' wishes, hello. For everyone who didn't see the crowd turning for Mox and chanting his freaking name, hello. Welcome to the club. These things happen. This is pro wrestling. I love that we can't always predict it. That's what's fun about it. But here's what I'll tell you. In my opinion, people took one look at Jon Moxley through the Continental Championship tournament and said, this guy's freaking wonderful. He's great. He's so good. And he reminded everyone of that at the pay-per-view, didn't he? At World's End, he reminded everyone of just how great he is. We all get wrapped up in the Death Rider shtick. I sure did. We all did, be honest. Whether you loved it or hated it or were indifferent, we all got really wrapped up in it. And, there was several times during all that I kept stressing, look, I love Jon. I think he's great. I don't want this to take away from who he is in the ring. And I kept stressing that for the longest time, right? And I don't think that it did, because I think people all around the world just kind of really recognize, Jon Moxley is still Jon Moxley. You know what I mean? He hasn't changed. And that's a good thing, because he's freaking great. He's great. You know what I mean? He really is great. So, yeah, that's where we are, kids. But I want to know what you guys think. Did you see Mox coming out on top in this tournament? Did you think that all this was going to happen the way it was going to happen? Did you see Mox turning face, man? I want to know what you guys think. All right, let's see. Faye says, I feel so validated. You're talking about Mox? CRP says, I was surprised by the promo. Assumed they would boot him out before the face turn. It was an interesting take. Chris, you know how that company rolls, brother. They just do stuff, and you're at home going, Wait, what? You know what I mean? Um, I'm in the bag. I watch AEW. I appreciate the talent. I like the company quite a bit, so I'm in. You know what I mean? I'm willing to ride along and see where it goes, see where it takes us. Faye says the belt winning was a matter of survival. Well put. He knew he had to win. Also, well put. Well said. What's up, Brad Hall? Said the Death Riders are going to turn on him sometime in the next month. Congratulations to Willow Nightingale. Hello from Minnesota. What's up in Minnesota there, Brad? CRP says, I knew he had a strong chance as they did give him early losses in JPW gimmick. Well said, too. I like that. Faye says, I love Brian's reaction to the face turn. Yeah. There's a problem here. Not a problem, but Mox shouldn't be shaking Danielson's hand anytime soon, and maybe never. Because the statement that was made was when you put a bag over a grown man's head, they did it twice to him, right? Once, maybe 1.5 times, whatever the number is. I don't know how you come back from that. And you notice what they eventually had to do with Hangman and Swerve. They eventually had to have those two guys come together in the locker room and have a face-to-face, hey, let's let it stop where it stops. I went too far. And people would look at that and say, well, they could have just popped. No. They had to do that. We rallied on this show. Not just me, but I think a lot of you guys did too. We rallied on this show for a good long time that you can't be the kind of heel that Swerve was and just expect people to take him back like nothing ever happened. And it's not fair to turn on Paige the way you turned on him, the way people turned on him, without understanding the character's point. And once we got everything resolved, now you're like, these two guys are coming out together. This is pretty darn cool. Yeah, I love this now. But we had to get that reconciliation first. I just don't know if reconciliation's in the cards for Mox and Danielson. I'd like to know what you guys think, but I just don't know if it's... Who would even start it? Remember that time I put that bag around your head? Yeah, my bad. Brad says it's cold and snowy. Do you think Mox has got the goal to get the IWGP title? I mean, a lot of it's going to depend on what happens at Wrestle Kingdom. We'll get into that in a little bit later. We're gonna preview the show here. We'll talk about that. I'd love to see him get the IWGP Championship. I mean, Takesha's got it right now, and it's going to be a big show this weekend, man. I mean, him and Yota Tsuji. I'm gonna tell you right now. I think Yota. Well, we'll get there and we get there. But yeah, I'd love to see. I'd love to see Mox as the champion. They put over the fact in that company that they have multiple world champions in that locker room and on their shows at any given time. I should feel a certain way about that. I really don't. I kind of dig it, if I'm being honest. Is it overkill at times? Yeah, maybe. Maybe it's overkill at times, yeah. But at the same time, you can't argue with the results. I mean, you see multiple world championships on their show, and I don't know, man. Like, I'm actually really okay with it, if I'm being blunt. And I know the conversations we've had here many, many times before about, there's too many belts in the company, and I totally get that. And at any given time, I agree. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I'm kind of back and forth on that. I think you guys kind of know how I roll on that, yeah. But, so I can kind of understand where people are coming from. But, at the same time, if you're asking me, Tom, what do you think about a Ring of Honor World Championship, the IWGP World Championship, CMLL World Championship? It's kind of cool to be on the same show at the same time. Again, people can have their opinions. That's fine, but I kind of dig it. You know what I mean? It can be too much. It can be too much sometimes. I won't argue the point. Chris says, I don't want to see that. Does nothing for NJPW. Hard to argue that. Really hard to argue that. In fact, that's a great comment. You're right. It does more for John than it does for that company. And, I can't speak for New Japan. I don't work there. But it does make me wonder sometimes, Chris, to your point, like, do the guys behind the scenes in that company ever look around and say, man, what's everybody doing for us? Maybe I'm way off base and their working relationship with Khan is wonderful. For all we know, Khan and Gato text all the time and send each other goofy GIFs. I don't know. You know what I mean? Or maybe him and Tana do. I don't know, dude. I have no clue. But sometimes I look at the way things are done when these two companies cross over, and it makes you kind of wonder, does New Japan ever sit back and go, what's in it for us? That's a good question. Great question, actually. Let's talk about the show that we've discussed here a little bit here, kids. Let's talk about World's End. And I'd like to talk a little bit about, where we were and uh, results and all that stuff. Because remember, kids, we could not. Well, we could, but we didn't because we were 2 weeks out. We did not preview the show. So we will talk about the results right now. Let me bring up the right screen here. And there we are. And let's see here. Get the number right, Jack. So I love the show. I read some reviews online. I listened to a few different podcasters say what they wanted to say. And, the folks who don't like AEW didn't like it. The folks who do like AEW liked it. And, for those of us who enjoy pro wrestling, we'll find the good in it. I enjoyed the show. And I've read some negative reviews. We don't have to get into it. But there's a lot to run down here, kids. Let's run it all down real quick here. Sisters of Sin, Julia Hart, and Sky Blue defeated Hyan and Maya World in a tag team match. It was only 6 minutes, 10 seconds. Good match, though, even though Sisters of Sin pretty much took it all, I think. Eddie Kingston defeated Zach Gibson singles match, 5 minutes and 40 seconds. I won't give the time every time. I love Kingston. Not sure why I wasn't on the actual show. I'm going to get pretty tired of that really quick. By the way, Zach Gibson, Grizzly Young Vets are highly underrated. Him and Drake are highly underrated. Not sure what happened. They came in with promise. They came in as an established tag team, and AEW's done nothing with them. But isn't that the case with a lot of talents those guys bring in? Mascara Dorada and Bandito defeated the Don Callis family of Mark Davis and Rocky Romero. Again, a really, really solid match. I enjoyed that one. We had Jet Speed, Kevin Knight, and Speedball Mike Bailey, and Jurassic Express, Jungle Jack Perry, and Luchasaurus, who is now out, by the way, as we all know. In case you haven't heard, he's out now. They defeated Josh Alexander and The Demand, Ricochet, Bishop Khan, and Toa Leona in an 8-man tag. Fun match. I enjoyed it for what it was. I like all the guys in that match, man. Some very talented cats in that. Now we get to the actual show. The freaking event kicked off with Kazuchika Okada and Konosuke Takeshita. Two of the best in modern professional wrestling. Modern professional. They're so good. Okay, in my opinion, Okada's one of the best of all time. Will we say that about Takeshita? Perhaps some folks are saying it as already. I don't know. Takeshita is great, by the way. CRP says, did you see Yoda Tsuji's comments on NJPW needing a break? No, I did not, but I'm not surprised. New Japan talents have no problem stating how they feel. Chris, you know that. They'll just come out and say stuff. Tana's done it in the past. They've all done it. Okada did it. They don't have like a governor on them. I don't think anyone's ever been disrespectful to any other companies when they talk, but they'll just say stuff. Yoda Tsuji is absolutely the future of that company. And I hate using the word future because honestly, what does future imply 20 years from now? He's the now, right now. Do you know what I mean? I love me some Yoda Tsuji, man. He's freaking great. See how positive I am? See how much fun it is to listen to a positive dude that doesn't yell and scream the whole time he's recording? Listen at me putting myself over. How's that sound? Jeez Louise, man, what's going on over here? I'll try to calm down. Let's see. That was the first match out of the gate. Great match, of course. Okada won by very heinous means. Did you guys notice that they didn't follow back up on the screwdriver spot that supposedly Kyle Fletcher left to use in his own match? Speaking of Fletcher in the match number 2, Mox defeated him, as we know. They got 22 minutes for that match. Second match in. Mox and Fletcher were fantastic. Man, Kyle getting thrown on the back of his neck off the top rope. Hope he's okay. I believe he's okay. I haven't heard anything otherwise. I want all these men and women to be able to walk away from a show. Okay? But I'm going to tell you something, kids, and everybody here knows this live and after the fact. The bump card will fill up at some point for everybody in the business, period. End of story. It's going to happen. And we hope it doesn't happen for a good long time for Kyle Fletcher because he's great. But look, dude, let's be honest, man. Getting dropped on the back of your neck, getting dropped on your head it's not a great idea. I know it's an understatement. It's not a great idea. Protect your neck. Protect your neck, as Wu-Tang would say. But yeah, it was hard to watch. I watched it with a friend of mine, and we immediately popped like, "Oh my god!" They showed the replay was even worse. And look, Mox is as safe as they come. But in my opinion, I'm not a professional wrestler. But in my opinion, there's only so safe you can possibly be coming off the top rope with the guy that you're flipping backwards. And what I mean by that is, I think Mox did as much as he could to protect him, but there's going to be some variables there. There's going to be a weight shift. There's going to be whether or not the guy can fully rotate. And even if he can fully rotate, maybe he'll land awkwardly, which I believe is what happened here. Scary moment. Scary moment. What's up, Joey? Says Adam Pierce hidden do 1, 3, and 5 maybe today or tomorrow Sunday Raw house show to book their championships. Yeah, Joey, I wish I could engage with you on WWE, my friend, but I am not a fan and I do not watch. I'm just being straight with you. It's not for me. I don't really like who that company's become or who they have revealed themselves to be. And I wish them well. I wish the talents well. I don't necessarily wish the company well, but I wish the talents well. Because there's some talented people in that company, man. And I love Adam Pierce, by the way. Scrap Iron? Are you kidding me? Former NWA World Heavyweight Champion? Yeah, dude. Chris says shades of Okada versus Omega with that Fletcher spot. Yeah, for sure. It almost put me in the mind of Ibushi and Naito, which is tough. Because as we all know, they dropped each other on their heads for like 2 straight years. Scary stuff. Probably their new ace for the next 4 to 5 years for sure. He is awesome. I totally agree. Talking about Yoda? Yeah, man. Suji's great, dude. Freaking great. We also had FTR. Chicago Street Fight for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. They retained against the Bang Bang Gang. Good match. Fun match. The crowd at any given point during that match was kind of kind of half there, kind of not half there. But it was solid. FTR is a good tag team. I give them a lot of crap, right? For various reasons. But they're a solid tag team. They really are. I was going to say one of the best of all time. We just do that a lot, don't we? Don't we do that a lot? We always feel the need to take stars today and measure them to the greatest of all time. FTR is a great tag team. I'm not going to argue the point. And I love the Bang Bang Gang. Can't wait till Colton Gunn comes back. Can't wait till Jay comes back. I want the full group there. You know what I mean? Babes of Wrath retained the AEW Women's World Tag Team Championships against Mercedes Moné and Athena. Really solid match. I love me some Harley and Willow. And of course, we know what happened later with Willow and Mercedes. Darby Allin defeated Gabe Kidd. Gabe is great. I know I've used that word a bunch here today. My apologies. Got to find a new adjective. Gabe is just a fantastic heel, man. And Darby, as we know, throws himself off stuff all the time. And I love Darby. I do. I love both these guys. But I love that Darby in his promo this past Wednesday referenced the fact that people have things to say about, how he conducts himself and the bumps he takes and whatnot without necessarily saying those words. It's Darby's life, kids. If he wants to throw himself off really tall structures, he can. I just want the guy to be okay. I like him. I don't want to see anybody get hurt ever. It's the worst. It's a bad day when a wrestler. It's a bad day when anybody gets hurt. But it's a bad day when wrestlers get hurt, man, because it just makes you feel for them, for them, of course, their immediate safety, their friends, their family. I mean, it impacts a lot of people, not just the company. It impacts a lot of people, man. What's up, Tony? Do you know if it is true Jericho's out of contract now? I don't know if he's out of contract, but I do 100% believe he's coming back to WWE. Did you guys see that picture of him recently where he is in fantastic shape? He's in fantastic shape. Chris Jericho's always had this weird thing he's been doing since the day he got to WWE where he'll have love handles and then a month later he's ripped. And then 2 months later he's got love handles and 2 months later he's ripped. The guy, you talk about, I'm not suggesting, whatever. I'm only saying that like a guy that can absolutely control his physique. It seems like Chris has such control over his physique. Do you know what I mean? He got in great shape in AEW in the past couple of years. I mean, a lot of people don't care for him. I get it. I can't say I love him, but you gotta throw out respect when it's earned, man. He did a lot for that company when they first started up. Was in the chat today with the guys from Bear Mode. Shout out to Big Tasty, Jay and Joe. And we were saying in the chat that his they don't really need him anymore. I agree with that. They don't really need Jericho anymore. But let's don't forget what he meant to that company in the beginning. You know what I mean? I do believe that you will see him in WWE. I think it's pretty much foregone conclusion. Joe says, speaking of Mercedes Moné, didn't win AEW Women's World Tag Team Championship. No, she did not. Yeah. And to be honest with you, I don't think she should, at least not right now. I just let her get through these belts first. As we said earlier, I think she's going to start dropping all these belts. We'll see how it plays out. Chris says contract expired 12/31. Well, there you go. Makes sense. Rumor is next week's Raw on Netflix for a return. Multiple sources have reported that, but take it for what it is. Yeah, I agree. Take it for what it is. I've heard about that. They wanted to bring him in, and they're going to do some kind of promotion with Stranger Things. Jeez. By the way, kids, we can talk about this in the open floor. I watched the series finale of Stranger Things. People crapping on that too. Look, here's what I'll tell you. The thing wrapped up. Let's let them wrap it up. I thought it was good. I thought it was really good. I got emotional in certain parts of it because if you watch from day one, you get attached to the characters. I was not crazy about this season. I wasn't completely in love with season 4. I enjoyed it. I loved Eddie, but I wasn't crazy about it otherwise. However, it was cool that they all got to say goodbye and they all got a farewell. And I'm glad that it didn't get canceled or anything weird happened or cast members left or got ticked off at each other. It's cool that they got to tell their story and then wrap it up. That I liked. Yeah, and I enjoyed the show. We also had Timeless Tony Storm, Roderick Strong, and the Conglomeration, Mark Briscoe and Orange Cassidy, defeating the Death Riders, Claudio, Garcia, Wheeler, Utah, and Marina Shafir in a Mixed Nuts Mayhem. I love that name. Mixed Nuts Mayhem. And all of a sudden, we've got like a little romance going on between Orange and Tony. And Mina's all upset. It's like, keep your hands off of him or off of her. That was pretty cool. I'm so here for that. I love they're giving Tony little side missions, side quests. It's pretty cool. As we know, Chris Statler defeated Jamie Hayter. Talk about a scary spot, kids. What do you guys think about Hayter getting that weird? I don't know what we're calling it. We're calling it dropping her on the back of her head. I guess is what we're calling it, off the top rope. When I saw that, I'm not saying this because it's the ladies. I love the ladies. Okay, I think you guys know how I feel about women's wrestling. I think it's great, and I love that the women get what they deserve in that company. I truly do. But when I saw that move, I thought, whether it's women or men coming off the top with that, I'm not sure why we needed that move. Stat did a great job of protecting her, it looked like, and it looked like Jamie was fine. Jamie kicked off with her foot. It looked like everybody was okay. But in my opinion, just one guy talking, the margin for error on that move is very, very narrow. And if something happens, someone's going to get seriously hurt. So in the back of my head, the only thing I could think of was, I'm not sure why we felt the need to do that complex move off the top rope. In my opinion, sometimes less is more. But again, that's one guy talking. People popped. It wasn't a huge move. It made all the replays. I mean, if that was the goal, then it worked. As we know, John Moxley defeated Kazuchika Okada to become your new Continental Champion. And then, of course, in the main event, which we all called 2 weeks ago, I think we all pretty much predicted this, that MJF was going to, I did for sure, MJF was going to defeat Samoa Joe in the match, also with Swerve and Hangman to become your new AEW World Heavyweight Champion. So we all saw that coming, right? Chris says, Stranger Things, much like Botman's Basement, is a love letter to all things Stephen King. You know what? That's well said. Joey says, New Year's Smash, Mercedes lost. Yep, for sure. We've been talking about that already, Joey. Yeah. Yeah, we kicked the show off with that. For sure. There was your World's End card there, kids. And let's see. Since we are... Pardon me. No one heard that. I muted it. Don't worry about it. Since we are running things down, let's talk a little bit about New Year's Smash. What did you guys think of the card? I mean, besides, of course, we don't have to go through everything, but here's what I'll tell you. Mox is getting cheered, as we said before. It's a weird thing. But it is what it is. Yeah. I think we're all kind of getting used to that again, I assume. It's a shock to the system to some degree. Looks like they're bringing Roddy back around to the conglomeration. He was getting really irritated for a good long time, couldn't win a match, that kind of thing. And it's kind of cool that he's still there. He doesn't have to still be there. It is what it is. They're doing all this Death Riders versus conglomeration stuff. He's in the ring with his wife quite a bit, Marina Shafir, yeah. And that all that stuff's pretty cool. I love that it's an unspoken thing that we all know, but they're not putting in the storyline. I kind of dig that. The stuff with Tony and Orange is really good. I'm a fan of it. The stuff with Swerve and Hangman, I do believe it's very cool that they're coming out together and stuff. I just hope it lasts for a little while. Do you know what I mean? I love how they kind of have each other's backs. And Hangman stood there and cut that promo talking about, when I get my hands on you, I'm getting my title back. And then Swerve just looks at him and looks at the camera and says, MJF, you better hope he gets you before I do. That was pretty cool. I was here for that. I just thought it was a nice touch. And, of course, Willow becoming your new TBS champion. A solid show. It was a solid show. I liked it quite a bit. Quite a bit. Sugar Shane says, it's so refreshing to see two heels tied together. Swerve and Hangman remind me so much of Jerry Lawler and Bill Dundee. The love-hate, mutual respect relationship is so refreshing. Yeah. But you don't see them as two heels, do you? Because they're not two heels. I love their dynamic as well. They've got that mutual respect where it's like, look, if you want to, we can just punch each other in the mouth for the next 20 minutes. But you want to just do that later and let's just go fight this little pipsqueak with the scarf? All right, cool. That's how it kind of feels. Because they've done the other stuff. They've done it, I don't want to say to death, but they've done it a lot. They've tested each other, pushed each other to the limit. They know what each other's capable of. So why go down that road again unless you're just ready to go down the road again? I don't know if they're ready to go down the road again with that. I don't think I'm ready to go down the road with it again either, because once you invest in Hangman versus Swerve, you're dialing in for a heck of a long time. It's not a bad thing, but buddy, when you're in it neck deep. You know what I mean? I kind of like this lighter tone they're having right now. Joey says, Raw Stranger Things premiere episode championship night next Monday. Yeah, we'll see. Again, Joey, I mean, if you're a fan, brother, I respect that, but it's just not for me. Hopefully all the talents come out of it safe and everybody's good. But yeah, it's not for me. Hope they have a good show. Let's see here. What else is going on? Let's give a little bit of a preview of Wrestle Kingdom. How many of you are going to watch Wrestle Kingdom? I personally cannot wait. January 4th, if you're in the States, of course, this is Wrestle Kingdom 20, but if you're in the States, when it's January 4th, we're talking about like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning on the 3rd. I'm not staying up that late, but I will watch the replay the next day. Right now, we've got 8 matches on the card, and of course, night 2. Night 2 is New Year's Dash. Let's see. Oh, boy. New Year Dash, excuse me. And let me get the right one here. Yep, that'll be January 5th. It's basically a 2-night Wrestle Kingdom. They just call night 2 New Year Dash. Night 1, El Phantasmo taking on Chris Brooks for the NJPW World Television Championship. Toriano and Spirit Tech, that's Master Wato and Yo, versus Tiger Mask, Togi Makabe. I love Togi Makabe. I wish we saw him more. The Unchained Gorilla. Ryosuke Taguchi and Bolton Oleg versus Bolton Oleg, and Bishamon, Hiroki Goto, and Yoshihashi. You don't like Yoshihashi. You and I have nothing to say to each other. Versus Tomohiro Ishii and Team 100. That's Taichi and Satoshi Kojima. Versus the House of Torture. Here we go. Narita, Sanada, Kanemaru, and of course TMDK, Zack Sabre Jr., Ryowa Iwa, and Hartley Jackson, and Keisai Takashi. I don't want to get the name wrong. And Rough Storm, Shota Umino, and Yuya Uemura. What a tag team. Who saw that coming? Versus Bullet Club, War Dogs, Clark Connors, Oscar, and Yuta Ice. This is for the Never Openweight 6-man tag team championship. There's 43 guys in this match. But it should be good. Should be big. Let's see. We've got Saya Kamatani versus Shuri. This is winner takes all match for IWGP Women's Championship and Strong Women's Championship. I'm looking forward to this one. I think that's going to be excellent, actually. Bullet Club War Dogs, David Finlay, Gabe Kidd, Drilla Maloney, and the unaffiliated of Shingo Takagi and Hiromu Takahashi with Gato. Who would have ever thought that? With Gato. Versus Andrade El Idolo. That's right, kids. Andrade is the new benefactor of the United Empire. Cal Newman, Great Khan, Hanare, and to be announced. 10-man tag team match. We'll see with Jacob Austin Young. Don't want to forget him. We've also got El Desperado versus Kosei Fujita versus Taiji Ishimori versus Sho for a match to determine the number one contender for IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. Evil with Dick Togo and Don Fale versus Aaron Wolf for the Never Openweight Championship. I'd see Aaron Wolf win this. I do not think he will. As we all know, House of Torture cheats 9 different ways in every single match. And they probably will do it again here too. Konosuke Takeshita defending the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship against the IWGP Global Heavyweight Champion Yota Tsuji. This is winner take all. Then, of course, Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Kazuchika Okada. Singles match. This is Tana's last night, his retirement match. I love that it's against Okada. This is going to be a solid card. I'm very much looking forward to this. Can't wait to see it, actually. I think this night's going to be great. It's going to be great. I'm so looking forward to it. CRP says energy drinks on tap, ready to roll. Are you going to stay up for it? Good man. I don't think I can do it, man. Joy says NXT New Year's Eve. New Year's Evil? Next Tuesday? Yeah. Chris says probably going to cry at the end of that. Yeah, man. I'm looking forward to it. I love Tana. Can I be honest with you? This is no disrespect to any of the guys in Japan. Everybody knows where I'm going to go with this, yeah. I got to see Kojima live. I'm very glad that I did. Also got to see, I can't remember his name. Blue Justice? What's his name? Chris, help me out here. Tags with Kojima all the time. Why am I blanking on his name? Got to see them live. Very glad I did. But a lot of these Japanese guys will stay till their 50s and beyond and keep working. Hey, man, if you can do it, you can stay in shape and be healthy and be safe and be okay. I think that's great. I can't sit here and say, Tanahashi's hurting. I don't know that. And then, have you asked him? I haven't asked him. But sometimes I watch Tana. I just look at his knees when he walks, and I'm like, this guy cannot be feeling good all the time. So I'm glad that he's going out on his own terms. I'm glad that he's getting to call his own shot. I love that it's against Okada. I think it's pretty cool. So, yeah, I'm happy for the guy, man. What a career. What a career. You know what I mean? And, you know, we live in the worst possible timeline. I'm holding to that. However, if you're a pro wrestling fan, you probably live in the best possible of all timelines because, you know, look at the stuff we've got in the past 30 years. Some of the best wrestling of all time, in my opinion, some of the best wrestling you've ever seen. You guys know I'm a big territory guy. I have a soft spot for Crockett, always will. In my opinion, that's the best wrestling ever. That's to me, though. But I cannot and will not argue with where we are now. I love where we are now. I enjoy AEW. I love New Japan. I love there's so many companies out there who can actually make some money at this and have a fan following. I'm just such a fan, dude. That's the thing. I'm just such a fan. Joy says New Japan Pro Wrestling Star released got days ago under Ringside. Brother, Joe, let me just tell you in all fairness, my friend, if Ringside News told me the sky was blue, I'd open my door and check first. I'm not saying that who you're talking about didn't get released. I'm sure they probably did. But I don't believe a thing that comes out of that website. And I'm being honest with you kids, neither should none of you. Not a quality website, Ringside News. I said what I said. I don't care. I don't care. People give Meltzer all kinds of garbage for stuff, you know, but no one can argue the output of F4WOnline.com. Nobody can argue that. People can try. It's dumb. It's dumb. And, you know, we're not going to sit here today and talk about who's more right than anybody else, but when I wrote all the time 12, 13 columns a week for pro wrestling websites. We're going back to 2015 and up to the early 20s. I knew then that Ringside News wasn't a website I cared anything about. And every writer that I knew then and now, they all agree with me. Sorry, it's the truth. So everybody just be careful where you get your information. Here's what I'll always tell you, whether it's pro wrestling, entertainment, TV shows, music, politics, whatever it is, always go source what it is you're reading. Don't just assume what you just saw really happened or that what you heard is true. Go source it. Google is a powerful search engine. I'm not saying Google is right all the time. What I'm telling you is go do your research, go do your own homework and figure out, is what I just saw real? I wonder, I'm curious. Go do your own legwork. It doesn't take that much work, man. There's no excuse for anybody to be sharing crazy links. No excuse for anybody to be regurgitating news that isn't real when there's so many ways to find out the facts that's out there. Do your work, kids. I'm just saying. Chris says, unless it's an article that just per F4W, I ain't trusting the ringside. Yeah, see, I'm not the only one. And Chris, have we ever even talked about that? As much as you and I have talked? I don't think we've ever even talked about that, have we? You don't need to. It's common knowledge. But they have a following, you know what I mean? I don't like the fact that they have a following, but they have it. I'll try not to bash anybody else on the show here today. No promises. I'm kidding. You guys know we don't do that kind of stuff here. For New Year Dash, there's not much listed. We've got Doki versus to be decided. Singles match for IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. I kind of like that to be a surprise and for Doki to lose the belt. I like Doki quite a bit, by the way. And we've got the Knockout Brothers, Oscar and Yuta Ice versus TMDK for the IWGP Tag Team Championship. Oscar and Yuta Ice are great. I've said that word a bunch. I apologize. Great. I'm going to say it again. Great. I regret nothing. Yeah, I regret nothing. David Down Under joining us from Australia. What's up, my friend? Good to see you. Glad you made it here today. Kids, before we take it home and start our weekend, let's do this. Let's open that floor. It's wide open, kids. We haven't seen Ray. Should we send out a search party? I think Ray might be. Is Ray out of town? Something might be happening with Ray. I'm not real sure. Yeah, hopefully he's okay. Can I be honest with you? On times that he doesn't watch the show, I will typically message him to check in on him. He's a grown man. He don't need me to look after him. But he just watches so often that when he doesn't watch, I'm kind of like, oh, God, is he okay? He didn't get hit by a bus or anything, did he? I shouldn't even make fun of that. But, by the way, how did everybody's Christmas go? How'd your Christmas go? How'd your New Year's go? I had an appointment this morning, and I was talking to somebody, and we were exchanging kind of Christmas stories and New Year's Eve stories and New Year's Day stories, that kind of thing. I took Christmas Eve and Christmas Day off, which was nice. I haven't been able to do that in a long time. Years, actually, if I'm being honest. But we chilled out here at the house. We had appetizers on Christmas Eve. And then on Christmas Day, after we unwrapped that morning and all that good stuff, I got up and cooked dinner. And we had everything. We had the spiral ham, and we had all the sides and everything, and had dessert, and we made some stuff. We'd done Christmas with my mom that Monday before. We didn't make it that Saturday. Tom got sick, big time sick, and he had it all weekend. The flu was running rampant through my house that week. Not fun, yeah. But we made it. Had a good Christmas at my mom's, no complaints. But it was fun. By the way, kids, before we get out of here, as you guys are hanging out with us today, just a reminder that tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., Bachman's Basement returns with The Man Who Loved Flowers, short story by Stephen King. You don't want to miss this episode. It's excellent, okay? We'll have the audio and the video versions up 10 a.m. in the morning, only on Boink Studios, YouTube, and on Spotify. It's all the places you can find that show. So be sure you check us out. Look for a promo coming up after the show today. Just check us out. If you're not following Boink Studios on Facebook and on Instagram, please do so. And, of course, follow Boink Studios on YouTube for all the content. Sugar Shane says, in your opinion, who has or had the best physique in wrestling? I would say Ravishing Rick Rude. Hard to argue that, honestly. Hard to argue with Rude. Great. All right. How about this? In terms of being proportioned for his height, his frame, his build, Sid Vicious. Sid could have been top heavy, and he was not. Sid could have been so muscled up he couldn't move. He was not. Sid was proportioned. And in the kayfabe world of pro wrestling, Sid's physique should have scared the crap out of every heel or face that ever faced him. Because he just, what was it Layfield always said about Orton? He was built for wrestling or whatever. If you could build a professional wrestler. To me, in my opinion, Sid had the best body of all time. Lex looked great. I don't think Lex had mobility necessarily. I'm not saying Sid ran the ropes and had mobility. I'm just saying in terms of proportion. Like Sid had the barrel chest, his arms were right, his legs were right, but none of it was like freakishly large arms and thin legs. Do you know what I mean? I can't say any better than I'm saying it right now. So, in my opinion, Sid Vicious is the guy that I believe had the best physique of all time. But it's hard to argue with Rick. Rick Rude looked great. Jay White looks great. Jay White reminds me of Rick. In as much as when you see that guy without a shirt on, you're like, my God. Like, holy Lord. You know what I mean? Robbie says there are so many legends working backstage in either AEW or WWE. If you could pick one legend that if they started their own wrestling promotion, who do you think could make a real go at it? That's so tough. I'll say Danielson. With, in my opinion, Danielson would probably run it like a Ring of Honor pure wrestling thing. But I don't know that. But feels like he would. I'd like to see Danielson run a promotion, run a show. I think that'd be interesting. That's my quick knee-jerk answer, but that's just how I feel. Being a promoter is far different than being just a worker. You guys know that. But I will say Danielson. I think he'd do great at it. CRP says Road Warriors, believable physique and look like two retired football players trying to kill people. Animal, yeah. Animal was he's a power lifter, but he wasn't ripped. Didn't need to be, right? Animal had that classic pro wrestling barrel-chested, big arm physique. Hawk was ripped at any given time. But no, it's hard to disagree with that. And I'm in the bag for the Road Warriors forever. Hawk and Animal for life. Does Heyman and Gabe Sapolsky count or just former wrestlers? Because I would watch their show. Yeah. I don't know if I could take Heyman being a full-time promoter again. I don't know if the talent could take it. You know what I mean? He lied all the time to those boys. Didn't lie to the fans, lied to the locker room constantly. He's so, look, I love Paul. It's no disrespect. He's so in WWE's pocket now. I mean, when he came out and defended Lesnar and all that stuff, I'm like, boy, this is a bad take on the bad day. What are you doing? But I think Gabe maybe is underrated. That's a good answer. Both of them working together. I wish it had worked out with TNA, but you hear Heyman tell that TNA story. It's great. Look it up, kids, if you haven't heard. It's great. It's great. It's so good. Him telling the story of them trying to court him to come to TNA, but they wouldn't push the younger talent. They just wanted to push Hogan and Flair and the older guys. And Heyman's like, well, we need to push younger talent. What are we doing? Why aren't we pushing AJ? Why aren't we pushing Daniels? Why aren't we pushing America's Most Wanted? What are we doing here? Let's see. Shane says, today I would say Rusev. Ooh, interesting. I didn't see that answer coming from you, but I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all. Kids, we got about 3.5 minutes to the top of the hour. Then we're going to go start our weekend. Be sure, as I said before, be on the lookout for that Botman's Basement promo coming up. After the show here today, it should be coming up. So keep your eyes open for that. And the audio version, of course, of Botman's Basement released on Spotify and on our YouTube channel, but also the video version released on YouTube as well. So be sure to check those out. 10 a.m. Eastern tomorrow morning. A brand new episode of the Patton Report came out yesterday at 6 p.m. Excellent episode. Hope you guys check that out as well. Chris talked some video game stuff, and it was a really good episode this week. So everybody, please go check that out. Ray Sports and Slams took the week off. And Ray deserved it. He's been going, I think, 11 or 12 episodes now, weeks in a row. Took him a week off to celebrate for New Year, so good for him. He'll be back this coming Monday. So, guys, be sure you tune in for that. And, of course, Tom Clark 6M podcast released this past Tuesday with parts 5 and 6 of mine and Phil Lindsay review of the Beatles anthology. Coming up this weekend, either tomorrow or Sunday, Chris and I will be recording a review of the White Stripes album Elephant. We'll be releasing that on Tuesday. See how you're getting all this backstage stuff, Jack? How you like that? All the time with Tom and the Boink Studios crew, man. We keep you up to date, Jack. We're doing it all the time. It's what we do. Robbie says, for me, I think Bubba Ray Dudley has been given some backstage stuff, plus coach guys and A&E reality type show like Tough Enough. Yeah, Robbie, again, can I be honest with you? Not a big fan. It's so hard for me to comment on pro wrestlers. Not all the time. But it's so hard for me to comment on pro wrestlers sometimes because we only know what we think we know and we don't know anything else. So let me just tell you what I think I know. In my opinion, Bubba comes off like he just knows it all. And that he was this big main event guy. He wasn't. And I won't subtract from anything he did with Devon. I won't. How could I? Mad respect for the Dudley Boys. I do, truly. Mad respect for the Edge and Christian feud with them and, of course, the Hardys. Mad respect, truly. TLC, you better believe it. But sometimes Bubba comes off as, I've got this all figured out, and if you don't agree with me, you're effing wrong. And every time you turn around, he's ripping on AEW. We know he's in WWE's pocket, just like Booker is. We get it. I totally get it. But it's like almost, and maybe I just watch at the wrong times, but it seems like every time I hear the guy talk or see him talk, he's ripping on AEW. I'm like, dude, take a break. You're not getting paid from them. You're not on a Legends contract. Take a break. Like, what do you care if their show was subpar? Why do you care so much? And I'm not, this is not me like trying to defend, AEW don't need me to defend them. They don't need me. Okay. I'm just saying, like, when it's obvious that you're in the bag for a company and you just shill every chance you get, geez, God, come on, man. WWE is just as fallible, if not more so, than every pro wrestling company on the planet. Number one, because they've been doing it longer than anybody else at this point, with the exception of CMLL, right? Which, I get it. But at the same time, like, you know, a lot of that's well-deserved. The stuff that they get, well-deserved. I mean, the stuff that they're affiliating themselves with now, it's embarrassing to me because I don't believe in the stuff that they affiliate themselves with. I just don't. I'm not trying to rip on anybody. Put Devon backstage, Robbie. Let's try that. I'm not trying to make this about race or anything like that. But when we think about, and Robbie, this isn't directed at you. When we think about talents and veterans that could work backstage in these companies, are we thinking about women? Are we thinking about people of color? Are we thinking about this? Are we thinking about, wrestlers who aren't straight? Are we thinking about this? Plenty of wrestlers through the years who would be probably great in advisory capacity, helping to book matches and stuff, who maybe you wouldn't think about. You know what I mean? I'll give an example. This is a weird example, so just bear with me. But there was a guy we worked with in a promotion for years. Nicest guy ever. In the ring, not wonderful. No, not at all. And everybody knew it too. Everybody was very nice to him. And again, he was a very, very approachable guy, great guy. But like, not great in the ring. But buddy backstage, holy Lord. We'd be working on storylines and stuff. And he had so many ideas. Like, it was crazy. He'd say something. And we look at him like, dude, that's good. You know what I mean? Like, really good. He had a good mind for it, just couldn't work. No disrespect. That's why I won't mention his name. But, it just couldn't work. But, man, great ideas, dude. It just happens sometimes. You know what I mean? It happens. Chris says, I mean more of a reboot, but Delirious. Him with an actual budget would be great. Oh, I agree with that. He was hamstrung when he was booking ROH. So, yeah. Yeah, Delirious seemed to have it too. Again, an example, not that he was bad in the ring. But who remembers Delirious as a wrestler? I remember him more as always hearing that he was booking ROH backstage. I agree with that. Great call. Yeah. Well, kids, I think that's going to do it for us. We're at the top of the hour. We got a whole weekend we're going to go get to. We appreciate you guys following. Of course, we appreciate all you guys hanging out with us here today, as you always do. Thanks for being patient with us during the holiday break. But means loads to us that you came back here today. Thank you so much yet again for supporting us at Boink Studios. We're excited to give you a brand new year of content. We gave you 154 episodes last year, kids. A lot of content to wrap your head around, yeah? Sink your teeth into. 154 new episodes, not repeats, not reruns, not rehashes. 154 brand new episodes of podcast content released last year at Boink Studios by all of our shows. So we appreciate you guys very much for supporting us. Remember to tune in next week, 1 week from today, barring any unforeseen circumstances, we always say. Tom Clark's main event will be back. Check out Ray Sports and Slams coming live this coming Monday. Tom Clark's 6M podcast released on Tuesday. The Patton Report will be back Thursday. A brand new episode of Bachman's Basement a week from tomorrow. And of course, as we said, a week from today, Tom Clark's main event. That's all we got for you here today, kids. We appreciate you very much for hanging out with us today, for being there for us, for being patient, for following, for supporting, for sharing, for commenting, for all the good stuff that you guys have done for us, well, since 2014. And we're excited for 2026. I know I was a little down when the show came on. I wasn't trying to be. Part of my job is to entertain you, but to also give it to you straight, right? So that's what I was trying to do. But yeah, fingers crossed that we have a good 2026, kids. I'm hoping so. And as wrestling fans and as podcast fans, hopefully you guys are looking forward to what we're going to give you here at Boink Studios. Thanks again for following us on all the socials, for visiting boinkstudios.com, and for following Boink Studios on YouTube. We appreciate it very much. Happy New Year, kids. We appreciate all of you guys for hanging out with us and always supporting the shows. Thanks so much. Take care of yourselves. Have a great weekend. Watch Wrestle Kingdom and New Year Dash. Enjoy you some pro wrestling this week. And we'll see you next week, kids.